Hello, I'm going to tell you about jQuery. So jQuery is a fast small JavaScript library. This J stands for JavaScript. So jQuery is JavaScript query. It simplifies event handling, effects, animation, Ajax interactions, and so on. So jQuery is about write less and do more. It was developed by this person in this year. So how to add jQuery to your HTML? You can use two ways. One is to download it and you include it in your HTML file. Two is to get it from an online internet source, which here is called CDN. So for CDN, you can get jQuery from these sources. This one is from jQuery itself. This one is from Microsoft, and that one is from Google. So let's create our first jQuery. We first create a folder which we call exercises on the desktop. We open the code editor. For my case, I'm using Sublime Text. So I create a new file. I open the folder. I browse to the desktop. Here in this folder, exercise, select it, then I save. So let me call it first.html. So we add HTML tags, jQuery page. Here at the head, we add more meta tags. Under title tag, we add the source for jQuery. So we open the first link. So we can see different versions of jQuery. Let us use this version 3.7.1. I use uncompressed. It has almost all the features. Just right click and do save link as. This is when we want to download jQuery. So it is downloading. I save. Yeah, it is done. Let me get it from downloads and I put it within desktop exercises with the file first. So this is a JavaScript file. We copy its name and under title we add another tag script. I add another attribute source. I paste the name of the file dot its type, which is JS for JavaScript. So inside the body tag, we can put a paragraph. I type something like hello jQuery. Of course, this paragraph is an HTML element which we are going to refer to using the basic selector, which is about elements. So using jQuery goes in line with some selectors which are somehow familiar or similar to the ones used in the cascading style sheet. This star selector is used to, it is applied to every element of an HTML form. Hash ID is about using the ID. Dot is a class element. It is just the HTML element as it is. So for our case, we are using P for paragraph. Let us start with the last selector here. So we write the jQuery inside the script, tag. jQuery is written as $. This is a simplified way of writing jQuery. Here we put document dot ready function. So writing a line of code like this shows that we are dealing with jQuery and we want the document to get ready before jQuery codes are executed. This is the same as writing jQuery like this. You can even write this as this, so without putting other things. So jQuery will be written inside here. Let's start by using the first way. We want to apply the cascading style sheet to this element P. So we write jQuery, we put the P dot CSS, let's say color property, comma, blue. So we open this file. So the paragraph has become blue. What if we want to add another property to P? Let's say background. We make it yellow. We refresh. Automatically the paragraph is having the background color. We can add another paragraph which we call paragraph 2, and inside the paragraph we add an ID with a name para 1 for paragraph 1. I mean para 2. This is paragraph 2. So inside the jQuery here we write $P hash, the name of the ID is this one, .css. We apply the font size of, let's say, 30 pixels. We refresh the page. So paragraph 2 is having an increased font size, but it has got the same attributes as the first paragraph, which is yellow background color and the font color. So how do we remove it? We can remove it by specifying the class here for the first one as para1. So we are going to apply para1 here. We put dot para1, we put p, you can even leave p there, then we put dot para1. When you go back, refresh, we should see that the paragraph 2 is no longer having a yellow background color and a blue font color. So we have so far used this one, and that one. So star is applicable to each and every element which is present on an HTML document. Let's write jQuery. We put the body. Body is this one. It is like the main container for HTML elements. We apply the text align property. So we give it the value of center. We refresh. So all the elements are now centered. What if we want to replace body with the star? We refresh. So this is the same. We can continue by discussing this other selector category, which is called the hierarchy. So to do it, we first create a list here. We add another paragraph in which we add an unordered list item, item 1, two, and 4. So let's say we want to format these list items which are derived from UL tag. So we write UL space LOI dot CSS we write background gray. We go back, we refresh, so they are having the gray background. Let's comment this tag. We again refresh. It should look like that. So the next category is index-based jQuery selectors. So with index-based, we can choose one list item to be formatted, and the rest of the list will remain intact. Let's say we wanted to apply the background color only to the first item on the list. So here we write list, then we put colon first, refresh, only the first item is formatted. What if we want to format only the rest? Only the last item is formatted. So jQuery is zero-based index positions, meaning that if we change the list ordering as order the list, then they are now represented as numbers, and we want maybe to format the list items which are even. Here we put even. So can you guess what list items will be formatted? Will it be 1? Will it be 2 and 4? Will it be 1 and 3? Will it be 1 and 2? Let's refresh and see. So it is only 1 and 3. Why? Because jQuery is zero-based index position. The same, this list is starting with 0 index, that is 0, and this is 1 index, this is 2 index, and so on. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, the next will be 4, and so on. That's why 0 and 2 are formatted. So let's change from even to odd. We refresh. So number 2 and number 4, they are the ones, because this is 0, item 1, item 2, and the item 3. What if we want to format items by counting 2? So always the second item will be the one to be formatted. How do we do it? We change our code as order the list. Of course, here we need to provide the ID. Here we put the right ID of list item. Let's call it list item. Here we put hash, because it is the ID. When it is class, you remember we put dot. So this is an ID, list item, LI, colon, nth child to n. So we'll be counting 2 elements, and always the second element will be the one to be formatted. Let's say here yellow. We refresh. Not working, so what is the problem? Here we have ordered list, which is called list item like this. Okay. LI nth dash child to n. Yeah, yellow, there is the W which is missing. So refresh. Only the second item is the one which is formatted, the fourth item, and so on. It will be counting 2, 2, and the last 2 will be the one to be formatted. What if we wanted to count 3 elements? It will count 3 elements, and the third one will be the one to be formatted. So this is how we use index-based selectors. We go to the next category, which is about attribute jQuery selectors. So with the attributes, we have different ways to apply them. For instance, here it is the attribute which starts with HTTPS. Here it is the attribute which ends with .png when this is a photo, when this is a web link. Attribute which contains a specific value, you can also use this way. Let's see an example. We write another P here, in which put button, call it button 1. Inside we add ID btn 1. We add another button, ID, we call it btn 2. So this is button 2. Let's apply a background color to our button. We write jQuery, we put ID attribute, .css, background or background color, they are the same. So we put dark, we refresh, maybe we put black, of course. You see what is wrong here with jQuery. What it checks only is the ID attribute. You remember we are dealing with attribute selectors, so whatever element has ID attribute was given a black background. That's why P paragraph 2 ordered the list, and both buttons they were given a black background. So to solve to this issue, how do we do it? Here we can specify that it is about ID that has a value that starts with btn. So only buttons will be concerned like this, where the ID name is starting with btn. So we again refresh, only the buttons are having a dark background. Of course, with the dark background color, the font or the button labels are not shown. That's why here we can extend our CSS and add another property. We can do it like comma can add also color property of white. So white goes with dark. There is no colon needed here. So we refresh. It works. What if we use links? We add another paragraph here. We put a anchor hyperreference. The reference here we put HTTPS. Let's say example.com. Here the name is example. We add another link, which is http://google.rw. So we put Google. So we want to format the link which starts with HTTPS. jQuery, curly brace. Of course, here we can put double quotes. We write attribute name, which is hyper reference. This symbol, which represents start with https.css. We can increase the size, so that is font size. Let's call it Arial. Font size. It is in pixels. We put it 25 pixels. So we refresh. So as you see, example is bigger than Google, but we can even put Google on the second line. We add a break the line. What if we wanted to format the link which ends with .rw? This one, we can copy this. We paste. So instead of using that starts with, we can put $, which shows that ends with. So here we put colon.rw. Here we can put maybe background. Then we call it silver. Refresh. So the silver background color is applied. What if we are to apply these two photos? We can add a photo, one or two. To add a photo, we need img for image. So we need first of all to look for photos. Okay, we can borrow photos from this location. We put them in our exercises folder. The first photo is of GIF type. The second one is of JPEG type. So we copy the name of the photo. We put it inside source dot. So off is for GPG. We copy. This one should be called GIF, and the name is this one. So we refresh. As you see, our two photos are added, but they are somehow bigger. We need to use jQuery to control their size. How do we do it? So let's write the jQuery to simplify the size for these photos. We copy this first line, the previous line. The hyperreference here, we can put source. The attribute value is a source. In the previous example, it was hyperreference, so source. And here we start with height. Let's apply a height of 100 pixels. They are not bad. Here we can put width. Of course, there is a colon here, and here we can put the same value of 100 pixels, and there is a comma which should separate the two properties. So by refreshing, we see that both images are now having the exact size as we have mentioned here. The next category of jQuery selectors is hierarchy, index, attribute, and so on. It seems we are at the end of all the selectors, but before we say goodbye, we can apply an event such that when a user clicks on this image, the image size will become bigger. It will become bigger. How do we do it? We can write jQuery. We put this source, of course the source should be delimited by the double quotes. When we add the value for this attribute, here we put dollar. You remember we have been using dollar when we wanted to mention an attribute which ends with this value here. So for this case of images, we put inside here .gif, because this image is the one which is blinking, having this dynamic behavior inside. .css, we put transform. This is the property which should scale the image to let's say 3.16. So let's refresh. So it is immediately applying the scale of 3.15. What if we want to restrict it from immediately scaling to this size, but it should scale when there is an event which is triggered? Let's say dollar this is we copy this value dot click. This is an event with a function which will do something like this. We copy this code, so this code will run when this event click is triggered, where on this photo with an extension of GIF. So we refresh, we click the photo, immediately the photo becomes bigger. So thank you, see you in the next video that will be based on effects and animation. Bye.